Good evening, everyone. Before we start our meeting, we just go over the ground rules again. Certainly, we want to give everyone an opportunity to, I know that some of you have your signs with you. We try to give you that first opportunity, as in the presidential debates, to raise your sign for that time and do whatever cheering you're going to do for that a few minutes, because once we begin, we neither clap nor boo when we have people speaking. So we have respect for that. People should also know that since people have 3 minutes, what we usually do is we limit the cards to 10, since that 3 times 10 is 30. But we do allow extra time if not extra time, but we'll up to 30 minutes if we have exhausted the speakers that have signed up and there's still time remaining on the clock, which, by the way, it's not really 11:30. I know you think it is at this time. It's really a little bit before that. All right? If we all could please rise. I call this regular meeting of the Westchester County Board of Legislators to order. We would have Legislator Bill Ryan lead us in the pledge to the flag. Bill.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Almighty God, give us the strength, the courage, and wisdom to always act in this chamber in the best interest of the people of Westchester County. Let us keep in mind that every decision that we make impacts upon the life, health, and safety of all our great county residents. Amen. Madam Clerk.
Majority Leader Harcum.
Here.
Minority Leader Mazzano.
Here.
Ms. Borgia.
Here.
Mr. Burrows.
Here.
Mr. Gelfarb.
Here.
Mr. Kaplowitz. Ms. Marcotte.
Here.
Ms. Myers.
Here.
Ms. Perez.
Here.
Mr. Ryan.
Here.
Ms. Shimsky.
Here.
Here.
Ms. Breckman. Mr. Testa.
Here.
Ms. Williams.
Here.
Mr. Williams.
Here.
Mr. Chairman.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, we have a quorum.
Thank you so much. Mr. Harcum.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. At this time, I would move the consent agenda with no proposed modifications.
Mr. Mazzano. Mr. Williams.
I'm in agreement.
We are on the consent order as presented in front of us. Mr. Harcum, on the minutes approval.
Move the minutes of the Monday, November 26th meeting that was held at 7 p.m.
Members without objection? So ordered. Madam Clerk, public comment.
Each speaker shall be limited to 3 minutes. I'll call the names of the speakers and ask that you please come down the aisle to my left and wait behind the black ropes. Jack Bambace, Gabriela Alves, Stephen Madej, Dana Alfano, Sharonda Owens, Benjamin Zellemeyer, Kristen Yurchek, Elizabeth McDonald, Melissa Gilbert, Robert McAvoy. And the first speaker is Jack Bambace.
Good evening, Honorable Legislators, Chairman. My name is Jack Bambace, Westchester Department of Probation. Myself and my fellow co-workers have come here this evening to thank you for your hard work, your efforts, and your many hours and good work that you've done for both our department and for the citizens of Westchester. We appreciate your time and the fact that you have restored our probation lines this year. We just really want to appreciate you for that. We understand that you understand that probation has always been an important cost savings for the department and is one of the best ways that the department, Westchester County, has spent its money, the biggest bang for its buck. And we thank you. Thank you very much.
Gabriela Alves.
Good evening. My name is Gabriela Alves, and I'm a longtime employee of Ferncliff Manor. This evening, I will be representing one of our families, Mr. and Mrs. Campbell. Dear Mr. Jenkins and Ms. Speckham and other legislators, I last wrote a letter to you on July 16th. Ferncliff had found an optimum location in Greenburgh and could have started breaking ground by then if it wasn't for opposition from some of Westchester County legislators. There's been a petition circulated from change.org that has more than enough signatures. It explains the win-win situation that would occur should Ferncliff end up on an optimum location in Greenburgh. It would not take money from the taxpayers, but actually give money back. It's ideal for the children that go to Ferncliff, being a more home-like setting. There is no other place like Ferncliff in Westchester County for our disabled children. My son, I affectionately dub the eternal toddler, as that is his developmental level, but he's 20 and a half years old and 6'1" and over 200 pounds, nonverbal, etc. He's thriving at Ferncliff. He's only been there since April, but it's been wonderful for him. He adapted well, and it has taken the daily stress and dangers of having him at home off of my husband and me. We are in constant contact with my son and the staff at Ferncliff and see him virtually every weekend, thanks to the close proximity to our home. Ferncliff cannot close. You cannot stop the education and life skills learning that these children are getting. Many of his parents depend upon this for our children. My child is older, but the few years he'll spend with Ferncliff will teach him the skills necessary to be in a decent group home as an adult. It's the difference between being in a program where he gets to go out to a sheltered workshop each day versus being tossed in with medically fragile adults who don't get to go out in the community. My son needs 24/7, not just for academics. He's profoundly retarded. Pushing academics like they did in the school system is ridiculous, but for daily living skills. He can reach more of a potential for the future. There are no place like Ferncliff Manor anywhere in Westchester County. Please allow Ferncliff to update its facilities and its new proposed location. Sincerely, thank you for your help on this matter, Ann Campbell. Thank you.
Stephen Madej.
Again, how are you? Again, thank you for the opportunity to address you about the topic that's near and dear to me. Over the last two presentations, I've attempted to appeal to you about the needs of the Salem Ferncliff population and the employees and the possibility of our moving into the West Hill site as a new campus, a site that I believe is a perfect fit for a number of reasons, all of which I've raised previously. In all the discussions, I've heard talk about the commitment to get us situated into an agreement by the end of this year. Well, the time is here, and we appear to be nowhere closer to a potential move than we were 6 months ago. While it may not have the same sense of urgency that it has for us, your lack of action speaks volumes about your lack of concern for our population, a group of special needs children who are unable to advocate for themselves, and for our staff. Recently, one of our parents addressed you about the struggle she had in placing her child in a residential facility and stated that the close proximity to her home was a determining factor despite the apparent age of our current facility. So I ask you, who of you have ever put a family member into a hospital for even so short a period of time as an overnight? Do you recall the angst, anxiety, and helplessness you felt about placing your loved ones in the hands of strangers for care for even one night? Now try to place yourselves in the position of that parent who has given birth to a child with special need and raised them to the best of their ability to the point that they are no longer able to care for them at home, and there is not an appropriate school within the public system. The options are limited for these students, and Ferncliff remains the option in Westchester County. Other schools may have programming suitable for this child, but they are literally hundreds of miles away, thereby limiting their ability to visit on a consistent basis, and for those who do not have access to their own transportation, making it an extreme hardship to see their child. Ferncliff offers a program both residentially and educationally that can meet their needs and is situated in close proximity so that they can visit when they want, so they can enjoy a relationship with their child, so they can take their child home on weekends and holidays, so they can spend quality time with them, and so they can feel a part of the child's life. The West Help site offers all of this and more. It is, as I previously mentioned, on the grounds of the community college, offering an opportunity for their students to train and learn at our facility. Busing is not a problem there. Most importantly, it offers a cost-effective use of the property that would generate revenue for the town and county almost immediately at no cost to the taxpayers. It's been stated that if not West Help, an alternative would be found by the end of the year. Again, this has not happened despite our willingness to visit and consider properties offered. The state is getting anxious, and there's no guarantee how long the state will hold on to empty promises and continue to support us in our quest for a new campus. If we are unable to meet their timelines and the hour is drawing near that we will not be able to, we'll be forced to close. I ask you, all of you, will you then how will you answer our employees who will no longer have work and be out of work as a result of politics? And how will you answer the parents who will now be forced to have their children taken away from them and sent hundreds of miles away, literally Orange County, to be able to be educated and not be able to enjoy a positive relationship with them? I ask you again to reconsider West Help. Thank you.
Dana Alfano.
Hello, everybody. My name is Dana Alfano. I'm an employee at Ferncliff Manor. I yield my time to Della Lenz.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. My name is Della Lenz, and I live in unincorporated Greenburgh, East Irvington, and I beg for you to support SAIL at Ferncliff and their lease to the West Help property. SAIL is a facility which serves some of our most forgotten members of society. I hope you all remember them today. I hope you remember us taxpayers also. Listen to what the community has said. I was so impressed with the petition that SAIL had sent out and the immediate response in just a couple of days. Friends that I've talked to in East Irvington support SAIL when I explained that how it generates revenue and all the information that I found out about not being a burden to our school system. I was so impressed with the number of taxpayers who strongly supported the children to move to the West Help facility. SAIL will not increase our taxes and add more burdens to our school. After Hurricane Sandy, I was more convinced than ever that we have a community dedicated to helping others, but we need help too. We can't afford greater taxes. We want to be supportive, but within our financial means. Supporting SAIL gives us both. SAIL can continue their hard work, and us taxpayers can continue to survive in this economy. Plus, SAIL will provide an opportunity for the town to generate actual revenue. For me, it's a win-win. I truly beg you for your support and for the support of the children at SAIL at Ferncliff. Thank you.
Sharonda Owens.
Good evening. I am a full-time life skill assistant as well as a social work intern at Ferncliff Manor. It is a constant challenge and an absolute honor to serve these students here. The residents here have physical, cognitive, and behavioral challenges that they face every day. Assisting these unique and beautiful individuals in overcoming hurdles is a task that I embrace. My job is to offer them the support they need to achieve their personal individual goals on their own. The students are supported by a dedicated multidisciplinary team who provides an excellent individual educational plan. My job responsibilities afford me the opportunity not only to interact with a marginalized sector of our society, but to make a huge difference in the lives of some very special people. I teach and assist in basic life skills that will allow them to develop their independence. I take pride in what I do because I enjoy making positive changes. I'm not only helping them help themselves, but I am equipping them with tools that they will need to be as independent as possible in the future. These students have touched me in an incredible way. Knowing that I am able to contribute to empowering them is extremely fulfilling. That being said, the space that we are provided to work with is a challenge in itself. The dining room where the children eat doubles as a gym and all-around recreational center. The bedrooms are cramped and too small to hold all the residents' possessions. We do not have sufficient space, either inside or outside on the campus, to have the programs and activities for the residents in a manner that we would like. When families come to visit, they are limited to the lobby area or a small visiting room, which is not available when occupied by a new resident or a resident that is sick. Ferncliff is an irreplaceable facility in that it provides a service to the community that would be hard-pressed to find anywhere else. Not only do we provide an invaluable educational experience for them, but 24-hour medical assistance, activities of daily living support, psychiatric support, and family counseling, counseling, just to name a few services. Each department has loyal and dedicated staff, and it's upsetting to know that Ferncliff is going through what Ferncliff is going through right now in trying to obtain property for a desperately needed new campus. Ferncliff building is old and can no longer fit our ever-growing needs. This should not be about where the money is most wisely invested, and the politics for that is very short-sighted. We are gathered here this evening because we love and care for our students and determined not to give up on them. We are asking you to take into consideration the future of our students and to approve the lease submitted by Ferncliff Manor for the Greenberg site. Thank you.
Benjamin Zellermeyer.
Chairman Jenkins, members of the board. I'm Benjamin Zellermeyer. I'm an attorney. I've been practicing in Westchester for over 30 years, and I've represented Ferncliff for over 30 years. Most of the work that I have done has been in connection with trying to find a new home for Ferncliff for over 30 years. And I understand that the effort had been going on for 10 years before that. This has been a long, long, long slog. And I know it must be wearing on you to hear about Ferncliff over and over and over again, but it is worth the effort. It is worth it, and we will continue to talk about Ferncliff and to promote Ferncliff for as long as we need to until we find a new home. We have had many efforts. We have made many trips to Albany. We've come up with many plans. We've been searching for sites. We have visited countless sites. And the efforts have always come to naught, either because a site disappeared, or it was impossible to find a site, or because most of the time, what's happened in Albany is that administrations have changed, staffs have changed, priorities have changed, budgets have changed. The money and the interest has gone away. It is a condition that is perpetual, and our fear is that the support that we have from the agencies in Albany at the moment and the money that seems to be available could turn around and disappear in a moment. I'm not going to repeat what the other speakers have said. They've spoken eloquently about the need for Ferncliff and the wonderful programs. I want to talk about one issue, and that is the fiction that Ferncliff's proposal to develop a new school at the former West Help site in Greenberg is a conflict, or presents a conflict, between affordable housing and the needs of the developmentally disabled. It is a fiction. The fact that Ferncliff cannot use the existing residential facilities is not a matter of Ferncliff's choice. It's simply a matter of reality. We have developmentally disabled kids. They cannot use a two-story facility. They cannot live in wood frame houses. That's a matter of state regulation by which we are bound. So it's not a matter of choice. That's why we need to replace the houses that are there now. They simply aren't suitable for our purpose. But there are a number of reasons why this isn't really a conflict. First of all, West Help operated a transient facility, not permanent housing, and was operating well below capacity, which is why it closed in September 2011. Second, Greenburgh is not one of the Westchester communities covered by the settlement with the federal government. Third, Ferncliff provides housing for low to moderate income families. Its students come from families who can't afford better facilities or other facilities for their kids, or can't afford to have private help in the home. The well-to-do families have that. The Ferncliff families do not. Moreover, the buildings that are...
You have to wrap it up, please. You could wrap up with a...
I'll wrap this up in a moment, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for your indulgence. The buildings that are there are not suitable for any kind of permanent housing.
No, you can wrap it up now.
All right, one more moment, Your Honor. I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman. We've been searching for decades for a suitable site. If there were a better site, we would have found it by now.
Ben.
Plan B is to relocate outside Westchester County or close. We urge the members of this body not to play roulette with the state's time and money, and to reconsider the West Help site. Thank you.
Kristen Yurzak.
Mr. Jenkins, members of the, I'd like to yield my time to Ed Davidson.
Good evening, Chairman Jenkins and legislators. My name is Edward Davidson. I'm a 25-year resident of the city of Yonkers in Mr. Burroughs District, and I'm the controller at sale at Ferncliff Manor. As our elected representatives in Westchester County, this board is to do the work and the will of the people. A petition that has either been distributed or will be distributed amongst you has over 600 signatures of employees, over 250 strong, of families of the residents, and of people in the community that know of the good work that Ferncliff has been doing in Westchester County for over 75 years. Many others have written letters to this body. They've made phone calls. They've contacted the print and the electronic media, because Ferncliff is a local resource for a very vulnerable population. We are here. We continue to be here. We will continue to be here because we are the voice of the most vulnerable people. Many of our students, we have 66 in our educational program, there's 56 students that live there, are unable to even speak. So it's our obligation to do this for them. Tonight, I urge there to be a review of the proposed lease that was sent down. I urge every member to throw out partisan politics, to throw out long-standing feuds that may be in this room or outside of this room. Put aside your political aspirations and do what's right. Members have visited our location. You see what we're working with. We have the opportunity to be better, to put forth a program that is for today and for the future. Our proposal customizes that existing West Help site. Our proposal that we have put forth to the town of Greenburgh represents about a 50% cost reduction over our estimated costs of other projects in the county. This potential Site D, as well as the Austin Avenue site that had been discussed in the past. As I said, we have 250 employees. We, and I think this body can appreciate, Ferncliff Manor pays a living wage. We pay full benefits, okay? Every single person gets full benefits. If Ferncliff goes, now, not away,
because New York State wants our program. I'm part of the developmental team. I've been part of every phone call, every communication, most of your visits, at least debriefed if I haven't walked around with many of you, for the last 3.5, 4 years. New York wants our program. New York told us in a conference call 2 weeks ago, what are you doing talking with them anymore? We want answers. We want them now. I know that people on this board have tried to reach out to representatives of New York State, and they have gotten political answers in return. No one here is going to get a deadline. They're not going to tell you February 1st, that's it. And as Jay said, it's moving around. But we need to begin to move forward and close these issues. I implore everyone here, let's look at this lease again. Let's look at this proposal for its merits, for what it represents and what it will be for the families and the children at Ferncliff. Thank you.
Elizabeth McDonald.
Hi, this must be getting boring for you guys. Thanks for paying attention. I first wanted to thank Catherine for coming down and seeing Ferncliff. That meant a lot to me. It really did. And the other legislators who also did see the school. My husband and I both grew up in Dobbs Ferry, and our mothers both still live there, and extended family and friends. And when I told them that their county legislator didn't come, they were very disappointed about that. So maybe that person can maybe make a show. This isn't about politics to me. This isn't about legal issues, nothing. It's about being a mom and wanting the best for my child, like any of you would want the best for your child. 9 years ago, I never thought this was going to be my life. I thought I was going to be driving to hockey practice and football practice and cleaning smelly uniforms. That's what I thought my life was going to be. Not this. Not fighting for this, not standing up here, because this is not what I want to do. Trust me, this is not what I want to do. I don't want to deal with doctors. I don't want to deal with medicine, serious issues. That I don't know if you even have an idea of what I deal with or other families deal with. A lot of Ferncliff students come from broken homes. The stress of having regular kids with no issues puts a big strain on a marriage, and I'm sure you all would know, anybody married with children. You can't possibly even imagine what a disabled child does to your family. You cannot even. You become physically and emotionally beaten. We need you, our county legislators, to be our voice, be our heroes. You help us obtain a suitable environment before it's too late, because let me tell you something, it's too late. They're telling you, you're standing up here listening, you're sitting here listening, it's too late. It's too late. They need you to act. This isn't politics. Put it aside. This is families. This is lives. This is children. There is not enough space at Ferncliff. These children need and they deserve a home-like environment. They need a bigger school with a gym. The staff needs a better facility to do their jobs. This issue cannot wait any longer. I fear that if you do not help us, if you do not fight for our children the way you would fight for your own, Ferncliff's children and staff will not receive the facility they deserve. I fear Ferncliff will become physically and emotionally beaten. Ferncliff is being shot down at every turn they make by legal and political obstacles. But you can help us. You can overcome these obstacles. Please, please use your power to make a difference, because you can. Don't tell me you can't. You can. We put you in this spot. You're my elected officials, my son's grandmother's elected officials. Do something to make a difference, to voice those who don't have one. Please, be our voices, be our heroes. Please, don't shut us down. Please. And I didn't go over 3 minutes. Thank you.
Melissa Gilbert.
That's a hard act to follow. Hi, my name is Susie Wilson, and I'm a special education teacher in the Pleasantville Public School District. I also live in Westchester. I've been teaching students with autism and special needs since 1993. I'm here tonight as an educator and a family friend of a student at Ferncliff. I'm asking you, begging you, like everybody else, to lease the vacant West Hill property to Ferncliff. Manor. Ferncliff is not just a resident for students with special needs, it is also a school. This makes Westchester Community College an ideal setting. Being located on a college campus will create opportunities for the students of Ferncliff to be part of a larger community of learners. It can lead to internships for the students of both Ferncliff and Westchester Community College. It can provide an invaluable experience for students interested in pursuing careers in special education, and it will enable Ferncliff students to practice vocational skills in a natural setting. Additionally, WCC's proximity to the Westchester Institute for Human Development and to Northeast Special Recreation will increase Ferncliff students' access to specialized medical care, assistive technology, and other support services, as well as provide students opportunities to socialize and engage as full members of society. Most importantly, a move to that campus will allow the current Ferncliff students to remain in their home county, near their families. As a teacher in the public schools, I know all of the kids that are waiting for placements, and there are kids that parents have them in Massachusetts, all over, because there aren't all of the needs that we're not able to meet all the needs in Westchester County. So at least for these kids, keep them here. Permitting Ferncliff to lease the vacant West Hill property will ensure that some of Westchester's most vulnerable citizens, our students, our children, continue to receive the care and education they deserve while preserving and strengthening ties to their community. Please do the right thing and let Ferncliff Manor continue to help its students live healthy and productive lives here in Westchester. Thank you.
Robert McAvoy.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, esteemed Board of Legislators. I appreciate very much the chance to address you. I would ask, just briefly, if you could turn and face your constituents for a moment. And those in the back, if you support Ferncliff, the families, children thereof, if you could raise your hands and just show how many people are actually here to advocate for our children. You know, I'm not going to break news tonight before you and give you any new facts you haven't heard. You've heard the facts. You've seen the data. You've seen the numbers. You've seen the fiscal reports. You've heard from parents with impassioned pleas. You know, and again, it's the children who can't speak, who can't be here, that they're all speaking for. So I stand before you tonight, again, not to give you any new facts, but again, to show you how many people actually care. To ask you to invest in our kids. To ask you for some decisive action, to take control of a situation that by ourselves we can't control. We can't simply move into a new site for our kids, although we'd love to. I'm asking you to do that for us and for our kids. Okay, I'm not going to take the full 3 minutes, but I would like to tell you on behalf of Ferncliff and our children, our parents, our community, we wish you a happy and healthy holiday season and new year. And we are sincerely hoping that you return the same to our children. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I have no other cards.
I do have several minutes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and they'll make sure those will get distributed. Madam Clerk, the regular order of business.
Under standing committees, item 5662 from the Committee on Budget and Appropriations, an act to authorize the Commissioner of Finance to pay mortgage tax receipts to cities, towns, and villages.
Mrs. Myers.
Yes, thank you very much. I rise to recommend that the board approve the payment of the mortgage tax receipts to cities, towns, and villages for the period April 1st through September 30th, which is a total of $14,882,947.71. This was reported out of Budget and Appropriations for full review by the Board of Legislators. So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Myers. Members on this item. Madam Clerk, a long roll call vote.
Mr. Harkam.
Yes.
Mr. Maisano? Ms. Borgia? Mr. Burrows? Mr. Gelfarb?
Yes.
Mr. Kaplowitz? Ms. Marcotte? Ms. Myers?
Aye.
Ms. Perez?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan? Ms. Shimsky?
Aye.
Mr. Smith? Ms. Spreckman? Mr. Testa?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Approved 16-0. Item 5673, under special orders from the Committees on Legislation and Government Operations, is a resolution setting a public hearing pursuant to Section 209.141 of the laws of Westchester County on a local law adding a new Chapter 532 to the laws of Westchester County in relation to the disposal and application of waste associated with natural gas exploration and extraction activities.
Mr. Ryan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Legislation Committee and the Government Operations Committee asked that the board set this hearing for December 10th at 10 a.m.
Thank you, Mr. Ryan. The public hearing would be December 10th. That would be next Monday at 10 a.m. Members without objection. So ordered. Mr. Smith, would you like to, Mr. Smith? I would think so. You're welcome. Madam Clerk.
Approved 17-0. Motions, resolutions, call of the districts.
On motion, Mr. Maisano.
Yes, I'd like to add the name of Francis Lochran, and I'd also like to ask that our Commissioner of the Board of Elections, Reggie Lafayette's mom, be all legislators. I notice you and Lyndon are down, but I think that should be all legislators. Thank you.
And all legislators for Mr. Chairman Lafayette's mom. And Mr. Maisano, thank you so much. Mr. Harcum.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Please add all Democrats to Margaret Bruce, Molly Bruce. And I would also just like to put on the record that the first was World AIDS Day. So in our silent remembrance at the close of the meeting, if we could remember those who we've lost and that Westchester still is not through the woods, so we still have high infection rates in some of our populations, and this is still an issue to grapple with. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Harcum. Mr. Burrows.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to add the name of James Fisher.
Mr. Fisher has been added. Other members? Other members? Going once, twice. All right. We were going to postpone this meeting, but the Commissioner of Finance asked us to deal with the mortgage tax receipts. That's why we're having this meeting with basically one item on it. I had an opportunity to speak with the folks from SAIL again on this particular issue. They have referred to us about the Parcel D property. Mr. Crane has returned from his honeymoon, and he's been trying to have some success in trying to get the information on Parcel D, which the Ferncliff folks have said is a suitable location as well. So all members, if they have an opportunity on their travels and discussions with members of the administration, so certainly that would mean both sides of the aisle, they should ask the administration for the assistance that's necessary. I know that Mr. Meehan's office has been participated in that and has given us some template work to be done so that it would be helpful for the state. When people reach out from the board to ask the status of things, I'm hopeful that the state officials and state representatives that we speak to, some elected officials, some that are appointed officials, from both the executive and legislative branches, would not be misleading any members of the board to say that there is no impending emergency as far as closure of the facility. I know that myself, as well as many of the legislators here, have visited the site in Yonkers, and as we said before, it's a facility that we need to deal with. But as we're going through our budget discussions right now, and we're talking about layoffs of 126 people, and the reductions of services, including the closure of our mental health facilities that we did, that are county responsibilities, we certainly want to help Ferncliff and the SAIL folks. But again, it is a private entity, and that should be kept in mind. Finally, on this particular issue, we've been working, and many members have been working with trying to identify the concerns that have been raised. And we appreciate everyone's continued efforts in trying to find a solution that works for both of those. Madam Clerk, if we all could please rise, as Mr. Harcum has recommended, observe a moment of silence for those not only in the memorial resolution, but in recognition of World AIDS Day that passed on December 1st. Mr. Harcum.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. At this time, I'd move that we adjourn and reconvene on December 10th at 10 a.m.
On the motion of Mr. Harcum, the board stands adjourned.